You see, the defeated former MP has been presenting himself as though he still holds authority, even in his own words and on his social media platforms. He recently published a video attaching himself to a government project, even boasting that he intends to do the same with 6 more projects. Let me be clear. He has no mandate, no jurisdiction, and no office to direct contractors or communities on government-based projects. And this is not the first time. At a project in Richmond Hill in the Catadupa division, he was still given instructions until I personally visited with the councillor and set things right. This pattern must stop. On the Constituency Development Fund, I have learned that the former MP has already overcommitted the $20 million allocation for this fiscal year. The majority has already been disbursed, leaving little for our urgent needs.
Hot water channel, straight to the max. Bring the thing to the people then. Original generous speed. Same way. Man, big up hot water channel, no ice cream. Yeah man, big up yourself.
Integrity Commission. For immediate release. Integrity Commission submits 4 investigation reports and 3 indicative rulings to Parliament for tabling. September 26, 2025. In keeping with its previously made commitment, the Integrity Commission wishes to notify the public that it has, yesterday, submitted to Parliament 4 reports of investigation, 3 of which were accompanied by associated indicative rulings. The documents were formally received and signed for at the Parliament at 11:26 a.m. yesterday. Hard copies of the referenced investigation reports were submitted in separate envelopes, under cover of identical letters, addressed to the following officials. 1. The Most Honorable Juliet Holness, MP, Speaker of the House of Representatives. 2. Senator the Honorable Tom Tavers-Finson, OJ, CDKC-JP, President of the Senate. 3. Miss Colleen Lowe, Clerk to the Houses of Parliament. The indicative rulings were also similarly addressed and submitted in separate envelopes. A USB flash drive with PDF electronic copies of all documentation submitted was also conveyed. The Integrity Commission anticipates that its investigation reports, which were submitted pursuant to and in conformance with Section 54 of the Integrity Commission Act, together with the associated indicative rulings, will be tabled in both Houses of Parliament as soon as possible. Section 54(4) of the Integrity Commission Act provides that, where the report from the Director of Investigation to the Commission has a recommendation under subsection 3, the Commission shall submit it to Parliament for tabling. Integrity Commission requisitions public bodies to provide particulars of land and asset divestment, public-private partnerships and acquisition activities. April 3, 2025. The Integrity Commission has requisitioned 12 public bodies to provide to it, by May 30, 2025, detailed particulars concerning all land, asset divestment, public-private partnership, and acquisition transactions executed by them during the period July 1, 2024 to December 31, 2024. This includes warrant exemptions. The Commission's initiative, which will be supported by a new web-based system, is geared towards ensuring enhanced compliance, accountability, and transparency in respect of land, asset divestment, public-private partnership, and acquisition transactions executed. The data will be requisitioned biannually. The formal requisition, which was issued under the hand of the Commission's Director of Investigation, Mr. Kevon Stephenson, requires all permanent secretaries and heads of public bodies of 12 agencies selected to participate in the pilot stage of the implementation process to provide the required information in respect of all land, asset divestment, public-private partnership, and acquisition transactions executed, as well as contract particulars in respect of transactions that commenced within the reporting period but have not yet progressed to the execution of an agreement. The 12 agencies selected are as follows: 1. National Land Agency. 2. Development Bank of Jamaica. 3. Urban Development Corporation. 4. Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. 5. SCJ Holdings Jamaica Limited. 6. Factories Corporation of Jamaica. 7. Tourism Product Development Company. 8. National Road Operating and Constructing Company Limited, NROCC. 9. Port Authority of Jamaica. 10. St. Catherine Municipal Corporation. 11. National Housing Trust. And 12. Housing Agency of Jamaica. Statement from the Integrity Commission on Applications in Andrew Holness, et al. v. Integrity Commission et al. August 1, 2025. The Integrity Commission, the Commission, takes this opportunity to clarify the decisions delivered by a judge of the Supreme Court. In the caption claim, as there appears to be some misconceptions in the media. On July 31, 2025, Miss Justice Althea Jarrett dismissed the application by the Honorable Prime Minister and 3 connected companies to strike out parts of the Director of Information's affidavit as being scandalous, irrelevant, and an abusive process. The judge held that the evidence is relevant to the claim and that the Director of Information had a duty to disclose the information. The judge also dismissed the claimant's application to obtain unredacted versions of the minutes and memoranda for meetings of the Commission and committees of the Commission. The judge accepted the Commission's explanation that the minutes and memoranda included information on public officials and other business which did not relate to the claim and was therefore irrelevant. The judge also agreed that disclosing this information would breach the confidentiality provisions of the Integrity Commission Act. The judge refused to grant the claimants the wide disclosure they wanted of all documents prepared by 3 investigators who worked on the investigation report, instead limiting the disclosure to such documents, if they exist, which contain their analysis, conclusions, and recommendations concerning the investigation and the investigation report. The judge expressly refused the claimant's application for disclosure of the resignation of one of the investigators on the basis that it was irrelevant. The Commission's application to strike out parts of the claimant's claim on the basis that they were an abusive process was largely granted. The judge agreed with the Commission's attorneys that the parts of the claim that suggested the Director of Information had purportedly examined the statutory declarations for 2022 and 2023 was not correct given the court's earlier ruling that the Director of Information had discharged his statutory duty in relation to those declarations. Similarly, the judge struck out that part of the claim which alleged that the Commission, as opposed to the Director of Investigation, had carried out the investigation or issued the investigation report. The claimant's attorneys applied for permission to appeal the decisions made against them. They also applied for the proceedings to be stayed pending appeal. The judge granted both applications. In the circumstances, it is unlikely that the trial of the claim, which was scheduled for October 2025, will proceed on that date. The Commission did not seek permission to appeal the judge's orders, as those orders largely consistent with its position and the submissions its attorneys made. The Commission would have preferred to resolve the substantive issues in the shortest possible time, but remains ready to defend its position in any appeal which the claimants file. For more information, contact the Integrity Commission on the numbers listed below. Supreme Court rules in favor of the Integrity Commission in contempt proceedings against Julie Malcolms. August 12, 2025. The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of the Integrity Commission in an application for contempt of court order brought against Miss Julie Malcolm. The court determined that Miss Malcolm had violated a prior order issued by the Honorable Justice A. Lawrence Granger on August 16, 2023, and was therefore in contempt of court. As a consequence, she has been ordered to pay a fine of $500,000 within 10 days of being served with the order, or serve a term of 21 days imprisonment in default of payment. The contempt proceedings followed an earlier legal warning issued to Miss Malcolm, who continuously published defamatory statements on various social media platforms about the Commission. On July 21, 2023, the Commission filed a claim form against Miss Malcolm seeking damages, aggravated and/or exemplary damages, interest, cost, and such further relief or other relief as the court deems just. On August 2, 2023, notice of application for court orders, supported by an affidavit, was filed seeking injunctions to require the defendant, her servants, and/or agents to remove all posts from Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and other social media platforms relating to the Commission and allegations of corruption, and restrain the defendant, her servants, and/or agents from uploading, publishing, or otherwise communicating the subject posts or any words of the same or similar content on Twitter, Facebook, or any other social media platform. Following noncompliance with the court's order, the Integrity Commission filed a notice of application for contempt of court on February 18, 2025. The application sought several remedies, including a formal declaration of contempt an acknowledgement of the breach, committal to prison, legal costs, and any further relief deemed appropriate by the court. The Commission welcomes the court's ruling, which reinforces the significance of upholding compliance with court directives. This ruling underscores the court's firm stance on enforcing compliance with its directives. Integrity Commission submits 2024-2025 annual report to Parliament for tabling. June 26, 2025. The Integrity Commission wishes to notify the public that it has submitted to Parliament its annual report for the 2024-2025 financial year, ending March 31, 2025. The report, which is the Commission's 7th annual report, was formally received and signed for at the Parliament today at 1:47 p.m. Section 36(2) of the Integrity Commission Act requires the Commission to submit its annual reports to Parliament not later than 3 months after the end of each financial year. This means that the Commission's annual reports must be submitted by the end of June each year. Section 21 of the Act further mandates that the Commission's audited financial statements must be included in its annual reports. The Commission has maintained its enviable record of preparing its annual reports and submitting them to Parliament in only 3 months, as well as having the Commission's financial affairs audited within the same time frame. Hard copies of the Commission's annual report were submitted in separate envelopes, under cover of identical letters, addressed to the following officials. 1. The Most Honorable Juliet Holness, MP, Speaker of the House of Representatives. 2. Senator the Honorable Tom Tavers Finson, OJ, CDKC JP, President of the Senate. 3. Miss Colleen Lowe, Clerk to the Houses of Parliament. A USB flash drive, with a PDF electronic copy of the report, was also conveyed to the Clerk to the Houses. The Commission anticipates that its annual report will be tabled in the Parliament as soon as possible. Once the report is tabled, it will be published on the Commission's website, and the serious consequences of defiance.
Yeah man, so my name is General. So you like the new school bus them?
Yeah.
So you that take one if you see it?
Yeah.
Why you like it?
Because they bring me to school upon time. And it take a route to go to a school.
Yeah.
And drive through the part of the traffic there.
But I saw one since morning and it was empty and school kids were just standing and looking at the bus and not going.
Some of them just
Why?
idle.
Idle? Alright, thanks for your opinion.
If you go far,
Yeah.
you can take your bus and them street there like, see how much you go dog and you live like Linstead.
Yeah.
You can take your bus and them something there dog.
Yeah. So, but me see a bus a circle this morning and me not see any school kids in it like nobody don't want to take it. You understand? So you would take it though? Like, you traffic on it?
Well, me no know, like I left out a certain time and everything dog, so me no know.
Alright, well thanks for your opinion.
Yeah.
Never mind. Sit there. So talk a little bit, or put the mic close to you. Alright, yeah, so hello, good morning. I just passed you standing beside one of the government school bus a while ago. Like, why didn't you get inside?
Good morning, because
Talk and speak a little bit louder. You're not sure, but talk a little bit louder.
no one was entering it, so I didn't go in there.
So why wasn't other school kids entering the bus?
I don't know.
Don't
I
know?
feel like
Speak up a bit.
maybe it's because like this is nobody now going there, so they feel like so.
So you that go in there if other kids was in there?
Yes,
So you think that the kids will eventually get used to it and want to go in there?
yes.
But you think it was a good idea by the government or a bad idea?
I think it was a good idea.
Okay, so how long you think it will take for kids to get used to it and start aboarding these buses?
I don't know, but like I feel like if some other kids brave up and go in there, other kids will follow them and go in
When you
there.
say brave up, like why should they brave up? Is something wrong? Is something scary about the buses?
I don't.
Oh well, alright, thanks for your opinion, okay? Yeah, so afternoon, what's your opinion on Jamaica having a welfare program?
Well, I think it's a good thing for Jamaica to have a welfare program because we got a lot of elderlies that didn't make any preparation for after they leave a job, And after retirement, enough of them doesn't even put a plan in place. So it is best for Jamaica to have a welfare program, especially for the elderly.
Okay. Isaac Buchanan said that every Jamaican should get at least $40,000 per week. Even if you don't have a regular 9 to 5, you should get at least $40,000 from the state. What's your opinion?
It depends on the preparation that Isaac Buchanan will be making for that, because you know that in Jamaica things is very rough. So it all depends on the preparation and the budgeting that he's going to put in place for that to happen.
Will it make people lazy or not want to work, or contribute to the economy, in your opinion?
Yes, it will make some people lazy, while some people might not put out that great effort to get a job, because collecting $4,000 per week, that's a great income for some people. But on the other hand, I don't think it is possible.
But, okay, so how would you feel contributing something, knowing that some of your tax money that you pay is contributed to an unfortunate fellow citizen?
Well, for me to be contributing tax, it's a good thing, but going into the wrong hands, that's another thing.
Well, don't you think that the government will have some criteria that has to be met to ensure that, it's not being given away to the wrong set of people?
Yes, I think the government would have a criteria for that, but sometimes people breach the criteria to get that type of money.
Okay. But overall though, is it a good idea, and should the government take it into consideration?
Yes, I think it's a good idea, and I think the government should take it in consideration and put in the required criteria for it to happen.
So good idea by Isaac Buchanan.
Yes, but the criteria should be better.
Okay, thank you for your honesty.
You're welcome.
Right. So, Even, my friend, so what's your idea on Jamaica having a welfare system?
Alright, so I think it can be a good idea. It all depends.
Put the mic a little closer.
So I think it can be a good idea because there are persons who they're in poor situations and they're not in a position to work. So a welfare program would help those individuals. So I think that everything has their advantages and their disadvantages. So hopefully it is not something that will be, taken advantage of.
Okay, all right. Isaac Buchanan stated that in an interview that every Jamaican should at least get $40,000 weeks, from the state, even if they don't have a job. What's your thought on that?
Honestly, I don't really have any thought per se. I guess it boils back down to what I just said, that it depends on the situation.
So
because, all right, then if everybody can just get $40,000 without working, what is going to prompt persons to go out and get a job?
Okay. So will it make people lazy and not want to look at a job to contribute to the economy?
I can't say that it will make people lazy, but the possibility is there.
Okay. All right. Another thing, how do you feel the people that are working will feel knowing that they are contributing to, an unfortunate fellow Jamaican citizen? What you think their idea about it would have been?
I cannot say what their idea would be, but on a personal level, I think them say each one teach one, each one help one. So if we can help our brothers, why not?
You have no problem. So you think it's a good idea?
I think it's a good idea until it becomes a bad idea.
What will make that? I'm sure the government will have some restrictions and some criteria that you'll have to meet first. So you think once those criteria are met and they are good criteria, you think it will turn out all together to be a good idea?
Overall, yes, it would be a good idea because it will help persons who are in need.
All right, thank you for your answer.
Yeah.
Hot Water Channel, straight to the max. Bring the thing to the people them. Original generous speed. Same way.
Man, big up Hot Water Channel, enough ice cream. Yeah, man.